I want to talk to you real quick about business credit cards for bad credit from banks, okay? And so when you think about business credit cards for bad credit, here is a list I want you to pay attention to. First of all, I want you to really go with the PNC Visa Business. So the PNC Visa Business credit card actually will accept you if you have a minimum FICO score of 575. 575, but you have to be a client, a customer of PNC for at least 6 months. And the PNC will ask you also to actually provide your company's financials. So they'll look at your cash inflows, cash outflows. They'll look at your balance sheet. They'll look at your income statement, and they'll also look at your transactional history with them. Okay, with PNC. So that's but you can get in at 575. Okay, and this Visa business card is kind of cool because you have low ongoing purchase APR of 17 to 27%. It's a variable. Okay. And for the cool thing about this card is that it has no annual fee, so there's no annual fee here to really account for. And so with this card, you have a low APR. Think about it, 17 to 27%, especially when you have bad credit. That's really good, and that's really decent. You have no annual fee. There's an intro APR on balance transfer. So if you want to really go with this card, you might want to actually transfer a certain balance to the card, okay? But the card itself is kind of decent. I mean, this is not a rewards credit card. This is not like a cashback credit card. This is just a regular credit card that you can have if you have bad credit. But remember that you got to be with the PNC at least for 6 months, and they want you to have a minimum credit score of 575, okay? And so I actually recommend the PNC Visa Business Credit Card if you are looking for a business credit card with low interest for bad credit. If it's a low ongoing purchase APR, makes it a solid choice for business owners who need to carry a balance from month to month. And plus, you will save on fees because it really offers a $0 annual fee. So this is really fantastic. So the cool thing even with this card is that you can set spending limits on employee cards, okay, and up to 99 employees, okay, and at no cost. So PNC is not going to charge you anything for the additional employee cards, okay? That's really fantastic. If you're looking for a business credit card for bad credit from banks, I want you to think about Capital One Spark Classic for Business. So this card actually will get you in, Capital One will qualify you if you have a minimum credit score of 500. But you have to be with Capital One as a bank. You got to have a business bank account with the institution for at least 4 months before Capital One will consider your application. And kind of similar because this card is actually this business credit card is a business credit card for fair credit. But if Capital One wants to give it to you with a bad credit score, they will pay attention to your financials, kind of similar to what PNC is doing. They will pay attention to your transactional history with them, and they might ask you to provide also your last 2 years of tax returns, business tax returns. So you might have to provide to Capital One actually your 1120S, your 1120, or your 1065s, and Capital One will actually go through your financials and see if you have a steady inflow of cash so that you can really qualify for this card. But great card for when it comes to a business credit card, bad credit from banks. You have to be with Capital One for 4 months. Remember that Capital One is primarily an online bank. So of course they do have branches in 10 states, 9 or 10 states, give or take, but they don't have the type of coverage, geographical coverage that you have with, let's say, Chase or Bank of America or Citi or Wells Fargo. But it's still decent anyway. And with this card, actually, you will earn 1% cash back for your business on every purchase, everywhere. No limits or category restrictions. Plus, you earn unlimited 5% cash back on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. Okay, really good. And the APR is kind of high though. The APR here goes from 29 to 35%. So the cool thing about this card is that you can qualify with bad or fair credit. There is no annual fee, so that's really good. $0 annual fee, and you can earn cash back on every purchase. There are no foreign transaction fees, and you have additional employee cards and no extra cost. On the flip side, basically there is a limited rewards program, and you do have a high APR to contend with. if you are looking for business credit cards for bad credit from banks, I want you to consider actually the Bank of America Business Advantage Customized Cash Rewards MasterCard. I mean, this is a mouthful, but hey, listen, it is what it is. So, Bank of America Business Advantage Customized Cash Rewards MasterCard. And Bank of America wants you to be a customer of theirs for 3 months before you apply for this card. And they will accept you if you have a minimum FICO score of a 570, and you got to be with Bank of America for at least 3 months. Okay, Bank of America is not going to ask you to provide your tax returns or your financials. They will ask you to provide your bank statements. Either if you're with them, they already have it. If not, they will ask you or other banks that you have to provide bank statements for the last 6 months. And this is how Bank of America will see your cash inflows and cash outflows, but also your ability to pay whatever you charge on the card. Okay, so here, when you think about this card, think about a card that gives you like a 1 to 3% cash back. There is no fee, so that's really good. There is also an intro purchase APR 0%, so you're not paying anything for the first 9 months. First 9 months, you are good to go. Really fantastic. But the regular APR goes from 18% to 28%. So you have this delta, this interval there. Okay, so recommended credit score 570 to 850. So the good thing about this card is that you have no annual fee, you have a sign-up bonus, and you have customizable cashback. So the customizability of the cashback is really cool because it gives you more flexibility. On the flip side, be really careful because there are foreign transaction fees, and you do have also a spending cap on the highest cashback rate. So this is something to really be careful about. But overall, this is actually one of the best cashback credit card, especially if you want to look at it as a business gas credit card. Okay, and so you will earn a high rate of cashback on the first 50,000 you spend in the category of your choice, including gas. Plus, this card is worth keeping in your wallet for other business expenses since you will earn cash back on every purchase. Okay, and this is actually about the flexibility I was telling you about. For instance, you can get a $300 online statement credit after you make at least $3,000 in purchases in the first 90 days of your account opening. So, from a flexibility point of view, you will love this card. You also will earn 3% cash back in the category of your choice: gas stations, which is the default category, office supply stores, travel, TV, telecom, and wireless, computer services or business consulting services, 2% cashback on dining purchases, and 1% cashback on other purchases. So this is really good. If you are looking for a business credit card, bad credit from banks, I want you to think about the U.S. Bank Business Platinum. Okay, this is a wonderful business card, business credit card, and U.S. Bank wants you to be with them for at least 6 months. Okay, and you have to have a minimum FICO score of 560, and you have to be with the U.S. Bank for 6 months before qualifying for this card, especially if you have bad credit. Usually, if you are just a business account holder, you can apply for a business credit card anytime you want. But if you have bad credit, U.S. Bank wants you to be with them for at least 6 months before, and they will also ask you to provide your tax returns for the last 3 years, not 2 years, 3 years. They will ask you to provide also your financials for up to 3 months, so they will see your cash inflows and cash outflows. So that's kind of cool. But this credit card, this business credit card, is kind of cool for balance transfers, okay? Because you have a 0% intro APR on balance transfers for 18 billing cycles. After that, a 17 to a 27% APR applies. So that's kind of decent, really, when you think about it, especially if you have bad credit, okay? And so one thing I want to say is that with this card, you have a $0 annual fee, and you have a long intro APR for balance transfers and purchases. So this is now you just have to be you have to remember that there is no rewards program. You do have foreign transaction fees, and you have limited benefits. Okay, so this is what it is. So if you need time to pay off debt on another business credit card, consider applying for the U.S. Bank Business Platinum card. This card has a 0% intro APR on balance transfers for 18 billing cycles. So really fantastic, really fantastic. And you also have the pay over time by splitting eligible purchases of $100 plus into equal monthly payments with a U.S. Bank extend pay plan. So that's really good. It gives you, again, more flexibility. And you also have like an expense management tool, Visa Spend Clarity, which is really free to access and sync expenses, set employee card controls, generate reports, and more. Fantastic. If you're looking for business credit cards, bad credit from banks, I want to introduce you to a card that you will love. It's actually a secured business credit card, so you don't have to actually be with FNBO. So FNBO, that's the First National Bank of Omaha. So basically, this is their business edition secured MasterCard. It's the only business credit card into this conversation that's secured. Okay, all the others are unsecured. This one is secured. In other words, the cash you have on the card is actually your own cash. So FNBO is not really extending credit to you. Okay, so there's no limit. I mean, there's no limit. There's no restriction when it comes to credit score. You can have bad credit. You can have 300 as your FICO score. FNBO will work with you because this is your money. Okay. Now this card has an annual fee of $39 and a very high APR as well. So you are looking at an APR that goes from 25% to 35%. So that's kind of high. But the cool thing is with this business credit card, you have the ability to customize your credit limits. You can earn interest on your security deposit. So I mean that's not a big interest though. I mean you're looking at 1% maximum. Okay, 1% tops. Okay, and you also have car rental insurance with this FNBO Business Edition secured MasterCard. On the flip side, there is an annual fee, right? There is a security deposit required. Of course, this is a secured credit card. Okay, and so think about a business credit card that's very easy to get. And the cool thing is FNBO actually is an online bank. I mean, they do have branches, but you can actually be in New York. You don't have to be in Omaha and qualify for this card actually. So it's very easy to get. It is accessible to business owners with limited, poor, or fair credit. So you must submit a security deposit that will serve as 110% of your credit limits and pay a $39 annual fee. So the credit limit here is capped at $100,000. So when I said 110%, it just means that if you want a $1,000 limit, you need to actually deposit $1,100. Okay, that's how FNBO is covering their ass. So here are the considerations I want you to think about. If you're looking for business credit cards, bad credit from banks, it's important to understand that for you to choose, you have to really choose the best credit cards for your small business, regardless of your credit score. Because at the end of the day, once you qualify for the business credit card, you're going to have to use the card, and the card has to match your needs, right? So pay attention to a few things. You want to analyze your options. You want to analyze the business credit card options that you will be interested in. Like for instance, you have rewards categories, you have points or cashback, you have sign-up bonus, you have intro APR, you have travel plans, you have an annual fee, right? So a lot of those credit cards, they do charge you an annual fee. So make sure that you're comfortable paying that fee. If not, just don't go with that player, okay? And also one thing I want you to remember here is that you also have to think about the number of employees. So if your small business has employees, consider a business card that offers free employee cards. Fortunately, all the business credit cards I'm just sharing with you into this conversation, they offer you, at least the unsecured ones, they offer you up to 99 employee cards for free. The FNBO Business Edition Secure MasterCard doesn't have this sort of capability, so this is important. Now, the process of getting a business credit card for bad credit from a bank is kind of similar to that of getting a personal credit card, okay? You'll need to research and choose the best business credit card for you and submit an application. And even better, I think what you want to do is that you want to go for those business credit cards that offer a pre-qual. So you have a soft pull, not a hard pull. So you have a soft pull, and you can see how much you can qualify for. So when you apply for a business credit card, though, you will need to provide more information than you would on a personal credit card application. So you want to really gather things like your business name, your business address, and contact information. You want to think about the business industry, your role in the business. Like, are you a CEO? Are you a CFO? Or have you? And you want to think about the type of business, LLC, S corporation, C corporation, the age of the business, the number of employees, the personal information like your social, your birthday, your annual business revenue, right? Real or projected. Also, the monthly spending, real or projected. So when you think about business credit card, bad credit from banks, you really need to understand that it's not just about you applying, because once you are approved, you have to know how to take advantage of the benefits, because there are benefits that come with those small business credit cards. Okay, for instance, you have a separate business and a separate set of business and personal expenses. So the ability to segregate your personal expenses from your business expenses is really fantastic, because this will help you actually have a level of clarity when it comes to your small business accounting processes, to know how much you're spending, to know how where you can cut costs and what have you. So that's really good. And you can also track business spending. Okay, you are able to go into your business credit card, that your dashboard, and see how much you're spending, especially if you have issued cards for employees. That way you can have like a clear idea about how much you're spending based on a work stream. You can say, this is how much HR is costing us. This is how logistics is costing us. This is how much sales is costing us. This is how much, let's say, like all kinds of business departments, like customer service. And so this is kind of cool. And you are able to manage employee spending with employee cards. That's kind of cool also. You can finance a big ticket item with a 0% intro APR. Can you imagine the US Bank Business Platinum, for instance, is giving you a 0% APR for 18 months on balance transfers, and in some cases on purchases. That's kind of cool. I mean, for 18 months at 0% APR, you have the possibility to charge a big ticket item. Of course, this has to be kept to it has to be kept under the amount that you got qualified for in the first place in terms of credit limits. Okay, but this is kind of cool. You can take advantage of travel protections and other perks. So this is really fantastic. Now, if you want to really stay in good terms with a bank that issued you the card in the first place, you want to make sure that you pay at least the minimum, because a history of late payments could harm your business credit score. So make sure that your payments arrive on time. If you can pay your card off in full every month to avoid incurring interest, and you also want to know when your 0% intro APR period ends. That's really fantastic also. And also, one thing you want to do is you want to set spending limits on employee cards. I mean, you don't want employees to have the impression that they can just use the business credit card the way they want, right? There has to be limits, and that limits only you can actually set them. So that's really important. So here's a quote I want you to really pay attention to. In this conversation, I spoke to you about business credit cards, bad credit from banks. I give you the list, the considerations, and now the quota. So the list, you have PNC Visa Business, Capital One Spark Classic for Business, Bank of America Business Advantage Customized, you have US Bank Business Platinum, and you have FNBO Business Edition Secured MasterCard. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.